Are we rolling, Adam?
We're rolling, Claude.
Hi, welcome to Adam and Claude show.
Adam and Claude with Taurus.
Hey, we just wanted to cover off, get a little more in depth as to what we have going on out here at AIM this year. And I think the best way to maybe do that is to have me ask Adam, who is running the AIM site this year. I help him out where I can, but we'll have Adam maybe go over some specifics as to what we're doing on each crop and what we're looking for with some of the things that we're doing. And we'll just go back and forth. Adam, maybe tell us what was your plan? What was our overall goal for AIM this year? What was your thoughts of what we as a group of Taurus, what we wanted to do?
Yeah, I'd say sticking with what Taurus's vision is and where Taurus lies. You know, soil health is just so important to what we're doing, especially not only zero tilling, but also with tillage, I guess, going on. Everybody's got a newfound love for soil health, and you know, we got a few products that fit the soil health as well as the low salt index mindset. So sticking with our Crystal Green and our Sulfur Plus on the fertility side, and also looking at some new products, looking at the soil health and what we can do on the on the biological side as well. So
soil health is, you know, my mindset is the longevity of that soil is getting a soil that'll last for years, like not just taking it for what it is today, but making it last for a long time. You know, and you also talked about salt index. What are a couple of key things that you think as Taurus that we're doing to not only increase that soil health so that soil is healthier and it stays around longer, and maybe we'll follow up a little bit of salt index and how that helps with soil health. What's your thoughts there?
When it comes to salt index, you know, monitoring just emergence, right? We've been pushing fertility really to a high limit. We've been trying to, you know, soil health, push more fertilizer, leave that land in a better shape than what we started it with. But in turn, we were actually hurting our emergence, essentially. So, you know, they really go hand in hand. And when we started looking at products that can lower the salt index, we found our emergence just went through the roof, which led us down the path of changing seeding rates and, you know, dialing it in that much more. So, you know, they're so connected, the two. You know, in the far back behind us, we would put a cover crop in, you know, looking at, you know, essentially a 2-year study of when you guys can finally join us next year in 2021, we'll be putting a regular crop, possibly canola, on this multi-species in behind us, looking on how it affects biology as well as nutrient uptake of our canola. So we look forward to that even for the next year, but, you know, really pushing the envelope on that.
Yeah, that's one of the things you did just say as a cover crop. That's kind of taken soil health to another level. It can be time consuming and it maybe doesn't fit every farm, but there is a lot more light that's been shed on cover crops, and it's really a year break for that soil. I know we've played a little bit with cover crops or intercropping.
Yeah.
And unless you're set up for that, it's a tough nut to crack. And I know we played with that a little bit here at AIM, and whereas this cover crop, we just went right in, and that field has been removed. Basically, we have no crop as of this year on that field.
I can't remember right off the top of my head there, Claude, but I think there's about 15 different crops within that cover crop, all difference between warm season and cool season. And yeah, it's, you know, uptaking nutrients at different times of the year. So we're figuring out all those details, and, you know, the crop in the following year might be the telltale of that. So.
Yep. So yeah, I think the cover crops is kind of a unique thing. It's something that people are looking at. So we thought with the year off of AIM, why not fully install that? But moving on more to the regular cropping, the peas, the wheat, the canola we have out here. Maybe give us a little more in depth as to, I'll start with the peas because it's right in here behind us. What are we trying to do out in the peas? What do we have going on in these peas, and what are we looking for at the end of the day?
Yeah, essentially we got 3 plots of peas going on. We're looking at a real high fertility grower standard practice, call it, something that majority of the farmers in Western Canada would be growing. And on plot number 3, I guess beside us, we're looking at a new soil biology with some soil health aspects. So essentially we're looking at some stuff from Premier Tech, some fungal and new pipeline type stuff. So we're excited about that, and I guess just the addition of the crop intelligence probes. We're looking at differences between rooting depth and rooting architecture between doing these types of stuff from our regular grower standard practice. So, it's interesting stuff to see. We're posting videos of that as well on how we're actually able to drive more roots with the addition of some foliars and keeping that herbicide metabolizing, I guess, using with the addition of foliars on some of our plots to keep those roots really growing and thriving.
I noticed that you had your digging tool, your fork out here. With the things that you talked about that we have going on differently out here, if I was just a farmer, come up and look at these crops, what are some of the things I would see differently besides maybe the regular, the nice farm crop versus some of the stuff that Taurus is doing? What would I see a little differently if I'm out digging and looking in those plants? What are some of the things I would want to look for? Yeah,
for sure. There's, I think some of the things, especially when we look at our Premier Tech or the Active brand of inoculants with the mycorrhizae, we're getting kind of a really nice thick stem coming through compared to just a regular rhizobium, which would be on our grower standard practice. So you get a nice thick stem. Logistically that makes a nice peas for standability, for harvestability, I guess. It can play a big role in how peas stand up. But Claude and I, we were looking at this plot with calcium sulfate on it for sulfur plus, and we were talking about the turgor of it after we pulled it, just keeping structure a little bit longer after we pulled it and we're examining it. But the other part of what we looked at really was the bigger leaf. Hey, you want to tap on the...
Yeah, some of the things you showed me, one of the things you covered off right away was one of the check that we pulled. Still, it's all the plots back here look really good, but the check that you showed me, it wilted quite quickly, and I noticed the color was maybe not as deep, but the one with the sulfur plus and the active build on it, even though it was pulled, it still was, after 10-20 minutes, the cells, the plant was still holding up very well. And I think that's, I've talked about that in the past about how that can help you on stressful cold nights, hot days, a dry year, or maybe even a wet year for that matter, when that plant's looking through those stresses. And that was some neat stuff that we looked at earlier.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Moving on to talk about the peas a little bit. Why don't we move on to the wheat? What are we doing in that part of the wheat? We've seen actually it's got some height differences and stuff, and some color differences, and
yep.
We had some good weed control, so the crops are nice and clean. What are we looking at the wheat this year? What's our goal?
Yeah, so really sticking with the same type of theme, as our peas, our wheat. We replicated it, I guess, similar to our peas. So have a really good grower standard practice, and again, we're looking at one plot that's got 200 pounds of sulfur plus top dressed on it not long after seeding. And again, our other plot, we're looking at a soil health, kind of a new stuff coming down the pipeline. So, an interesting, the real biological portion of that showed really early response, really good emergence, and really deep, thick green coming out of there. As Claude said, there's a little bit of height difference going on, but 3 really nice plots of wheat over there.
And did you have, as far as application, there was active build as far as the foliar that was applied on there?
Yeah.
Early on with the herbicide?
An early on version of active build went on with there. No crop intelligence probes on there as well this year like we did last year, but we had really good data coming out of crop intelligence last year. During the Ag in Motion show, showing our extra rooting area, I guess, or rooting depth with the wheat. So we'd anticipate it looking very similar to that.
I look forward to some digs on the different plants there to see what we're seeing underneath the ground. As only half the story's above ground, so it's great to get that the fork or shovel out and dig down deep.